Hello, my name is Nikhil Deshpande, and my presentation today is on overpopulation and how it relates to or infrastructure and how it relates to overpopulation. So what is overpopulation? Overpopulation is a phenomenon that describes the world's population being high enough that it causes environmental deterioration, a scarcity of resources, and an overall lower quality of life. This would make it seem obvious then that overpopulation is a serious issue that everyone should be on board with preventing. So why is it so controversial? It's controversial because of these two reasons. While overpopulation is putting a serious strain on the environment and Earth's resources, it's also up to the people's discretion whether they have children and how many children they choose to have. It is a morally difficult question to ask because on one hand, it's important to do what we can to save the planet, but on the other, it's not right to take away human rights. So, how does overpopulation relate to infrastructure? It's a broad question, but it has a pretty simple answer. The more people there are, the more there will be a need for roads, buildings, housing, jobs, etc. And all of these represent infrastructure and the need for infrastructure. And the more infrastructure we have, the more of Earth's resources we'll use, and that basically illustrates the whole problem with overpopulation. So, coming to just real-world example of this on a local scale, let's take a look at Asheville, North Carolina. So Asheville is it's a beautiful city in the mountains, and as a result, it's a very popular tourist destination with a booming population. This population has brought with it, you guessed it, the need for more infrastructure. As a former resident of Asheville myself, I can attest to the fact that Asheville's trees and just overall landscape looks a lot different. Trees are being cut down at a very alarming rate. According to the Davie Research Group, Asheville's tree canopy dropped from 50.9% in 2008 to 44.5% in 2018, which is equivalent to a loss of 891 acres. So in many ways, Asheville isn't really the same anymore, and that can be pointed to infrastructure. And yeah. So on a global scale, when we look at it, we talked about local, now global. Just let's take a look at India. India is now the world's most populous country with 1.486 billion people, and that's unfortunately not getting any smaller. With a massive amount of people, their pollution rate has also skyrocketed to alarming levels. New Delhi, their capital, is one of the most infamous for this in the world. According to IQ Air's 2021 World Air Quality Report, New Delhi's air quality is considered to be at hazardous levels 56% of the year. India has in many ways become an example of what could happen to the entire world if we don't mitigate overpopulation. If we were to take action now, we could not only help India, but we could set an example for the rest of the world and prevent things like this happening to them. So this is just a simple graph. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the world's population. So this is from ourworldindata.org, and according to it, the world's population shot up from 2.5 billion people in the 1950s, so about right here, to 8 billion today, which is right there. And when you look at the population growth from 1700 to 1950, which is a span of 250 years, and you see that the population grew just 1.9 billion, and then you consider the growth rate from 1950 to just today, which is a span of 70 years, and you see that it's increased more than 5.5 billion. And then you look at examples like New Delhi, and even more in more countries. You can see that it's clearly an issue our population is growing quite rapidly, and it is showing up in real world examples. So, what is the best solution to this? Well, there should be a worldwide initiative to inform people beginning in elementary school or primary school on the potential effects of overpopulation. This will allow people to be more willing to take the best actions, as these ideals will be instilled in them from a young age. As more people grow older and are aware of overpopulation and its negative effects, they will make a conscious effort to do what's best for the environment and for other people, helping to lessen the effects of overpopulation. So, according to sustainablерeview.com, educating individuals about reproductive health, family planning, and the benefits of smaller family sizes can help reduce unintended pregnancies and promote more sustainable population growth. Education can take many forms, including school-based sex education programs, community outreach, and media campaigns. So I think it's clear what needs to be done, and I hope that we as people take the right steps.